Hey guys, so for this video, I'll be doing basically a collection plan for 2020 and more of just, I guess, like a final update on my channel for the year, and probably for a really long time, or I think it'll be probably permanent. Since these plans, I don't think I'll be changing them. I have like made up my mind after just doing a bunch of things. I'll try not to ramble as much. I have notes, so just to kind of fall back on what I want to talk about, and just regarding like what I'm gonna do with my collection. So first of all, I finally organized all of my albums. I know where each of them are, and I counted them, so I have a total of 905 K-pop albums, with including like Japanese albums that K-pop artists have. So I counted within that because they are K-pop artists. And yes, so it's pretty insane. I know I'll probably reach 1,000. I don't know if it'll be next year, meaning 2020, or probably by 2021 I'll probably hit 1,000. It's not like a goal that I have at all, but I'm pretty sure that I'll probably hit that number, if not by 2021. If not, I'm not in any rush to hit the number, but I just thought it was pretty insane that I've collected 1,000 albums. And it also just made me realize that I need to really cut a little bit of my spending. This year in general, I did not necessarily upload a lot of unboxings like I used to for the past few years, because I cut down on buying K-pop albums this year, especially the first half, because I was going on a trip for 4 months, and I also took a week during the spring. So I went abroad to a lot of countries and did a lot of unforgettable things, and I had to save up and cut on buying, and it also helped me, like I had things, like I had to spend money on other things and also save up for other plans. So it just made me even realize even more that I spent a lot of money on K-pop, and just by counting that I have 905, just yeah. That doesn't mean that I will get rid of my collection at all. Like each album holds a really special memory for me. I will be also uploading a sale video. I am trying to get rid of second copies that I have of albums that I don't need. I will be selling them for pretty low. So look out for that video. I'll hopefully, when I have time, I'll make it soon. And yes, I really want to just get rid of albums that deserve another home, because they really are not doing, like, I'm not doing anything with them. I'm just having them in a storage container, and they're all pretty much clean for the most part, and basically almost new, but I don't really have any use for them since I already have other copies of those albums. So that's one thing. So I kind of have like my points. I have like 5 points regarding why I'm not necessarily collecting as much. There are special special groups that there's exceptions for them. But I will go kind of like the 5 points. First point, I really have no space at all. Luckily, I managed to store basically every album, and it was really difficult and a bit expensive to just get like some containers and some storage units. just to make sure that at least if I have a album that, I mean, a K-pop artist that I have at least 3 or more albums, which is for the most part most of the groups that I start collecting, I usually have 3 or more, and I want to have all the albums together. So I wanted to have all of their albums basically together, so I don't have to search a bunch of places to find them if I ever needed to look for something. As for the group, as for like the artists that I only have 1 album or 2 albums from, they're stored in a specific box all together, and obviously I have a list where those are, but it's just easier to just keep things organized that way. But yeah, I don't have space, and I used to love big albums because they just like you see the pictures like really clearly, but I am a big fan of just smaller albums now because they're just easier to store, and I mostly buy the albums for the music. That's number 1, which is something I will talk about later on my points. But yeah, some K-pop albums are absolutely just ridiculous when it comes to size, and yes, so that's number 1. I really don't have space. Number 2, I kind of hinted at it in the beginning of the video. I want to just cut on spending. I want to save more and just spend my money on other things that I need to prioritize more on. And collecting albums can be expensive. On the regular, K-pop albums usually 15 to 16 and up, and that's per album. So when you calculate that with 900, that's just basically almost more than $10,000. And that's half almost of a car, or you can buy a used car with that. So I just want to save money just to do other things in my life, spending on other stuff, and possibly save up, just to maybe buy like a house or something like that. And yeah, so yeah, I just want to save money, like that's just a huge thing because K-pop albums are really expensive. Number 3, this one's pretty obvious. If you're familiar with my channel, and if you haven't seen a lot of my previous individual collection videos, I collect groups that are mostly 2nd gen, and a lot of them, if I would say 90% of them, are either disbanded or they are on a hiatus. So that means that I really don't have anything to collect. So a lot of the times they say, oh, we're still a group, but they don't end up releasing anything, which is the case for a good portion of them. And yes, so I don't really have anything to buy at all. And there are some holes in some of my collections. For the most part, I would say 60 to 70% of the groups that I collect, I have like an actual complete collection, or at least a complete collection in my eyes. And for those that I have a few albums that are missing, I don't think I'll be getting them, just because of the previous reasons. And also, it's just it used to really bother me not to have a complete collection for all the groups that I have. It was just really irritating for me. But you know, it's not the end of the world, and yeah, I can always just stream the album and listen to it whenever I want to. But yes. Number 4, I won't be, in relation to number 3, I won't be really buying any new group at all, just because, again, previous reasons. And also connected to my 5th reason is I'm not that into the newer groups' music. I don't know if it's because I've just been getting older. By no means I'm like really old. I'm still in my 20s or early 20s. But I listened to K-pop since I've been basically 12, 13 years old. So I grew up listening to a lot of the groups that I collected. And I don't know if it's like the demographic. Well, music really has no age boundaries, except for like baby songs. But at least my musical taste has kind of shifted a bit to just other genres, and I listen to a bunch of genres in general, but by no means do I mean that I don't listen to K-pop at all. I just don't listen to K-pop as much. But don't get me wrong, I love the music that I listened to growing up. It has a really nostalgic feeling when I listen to it. So even when I was organizing all my albums, I was putting them like putting some of the CDs on my CD player, and I was listening to them, and I was like, oh my gosh, this just brings back so many memories. So don't get me wrong, I'll listen to the old ones, like I don't care. But the new music hasn't been particularly my interest, which, you know, everyone, like I respect if you like love the new generation music, but it just isn't my favorite. Of course, I love a lot of the songs that came out this year, like don't get me wrong, but I won't be buying it because I'm just not really interested in learning about a bunch of new members, new groups, watching variety shows. I don't even have the time to do that. I did in the past, like I used to watch a bunch of variety shows, dramas, interviews. It's just a bunch of things. I just had a lot of free time to do that, and now I really don't. So it's just, I don't want to really invest the little to no time that I have into that. But if by no means doesn't it doesn't mean that I will not listen to them at all. I will support those groups if I do like their songs or something like that, or their albums. I'll obviously stream it. I haven't subscribed to Spotify, so for the most part these days a lot of K-pop companies upload their albums onto Spotify, so that's how I'll be supporting even the groups that I stopped collecting that are still kind of releasing music now, that are more like third gen in that gap. And I will get to explaining that later. And yeah, so there's exceptions to these rules. There's only like a select few. So the artists that I will be continuously buying from are very few. IU, I will be buying her albums, and she's one of the ones that I don't think will ever really stop releasing music, because she's basically legendary status now, and yeah, so she will keep going. And yeah, I will be buying more like of her releases in the future. Sunmi, even though she doesn't necessarily release physical albums as consistent as per se IU, even IU doesn't necessarily do that. Sometimes she just releases some digital songs per year. But yeah, I will be supporting Sunmi. I really like her music. Girls' Generation, obviously I have their album right here. And yes, they're number one on my list when it comes to girl groups. And by Girls' Generation, I mostly mean their solo work, because they don't really release music as a group anymore. They stated that they didn't disband. So I feel like we would only really get albums on anniversary dates for like 15th year anniversary, or the 20th year anniversary, stuff like that. I feel like that's what we're gonna get from them. But I will be supporting like their solo endeavors, especially when it comes to music, and mainly I will be just collecting Taeyeon. But in Tan is my ultimate bias along with Jessica, so there's that. Shiny, even though they're in the army right now, I feel like they're gonna keep going like Dongbang Shinki and Super Junior. So yes, and this goes for their solos, and yeah. So Shiny is one of those that are still on my list. Another one, Dongbang Shinki. The only exception for them is that I won't be necessarily buying their Japanese stuff on the regular. Like, I'll probably wait a few years to catch up on their Japanese stuff because it just gets significantly cheaper when it comes to just buying Japanese stuff. So them, for the Korean releases, I will keep up with, but the Japanese I will not. But that's the case. And Bright Eyed Girls, which is more of a group that's on a hiatus after they just do albums every 2 or 3 years. Now, groups that are basically within like my top 15 groups, both for girl groups and boy groups. Infinite, I don't know how they will be really promoting once members get back from the army, so yeah. But for this list, it really depends if I like the music. If I like the music that they released, I will get it. If I don't, I will not get it. So that goes for Infinite, Tiara, Boa, Kara. By Kara, I mean their solo stuff. So there's that. Super Junior, and for Super Junior, I will only be considering group albums. So if I like it, yeah, I'll get it. But for the most part, I do like their their group albums, so they're probably gearing towards more of me actually buying them. FT Island, same thing. VIX, 21. I put 21 on this list because since CL just left YG, and I think Dada's contract will expire soon, I have a feeling that she will leave. If she stays, I don't understand why she would stay, but you know, that's her own decision. But I have a feeling that the girls might regroup, and I think it's for the best. But I won't be getting CL or Minji solos, and if Dara releases a solo, I will not be getting that. But I am still considering Park Bo's solo work. But yeah, Big Bang, same thing, like 21, and B/Highlight. I still call them Beast because, you know, that's how I got introduced to them. If I like their album, I will get it. And those are just more of groups that are on that category where they're either on hiatus. Yeah, they're all kind of on hiatus, or they don't promote as much. Now more of current groups that are, you know, more active, that if I like the album, I'll get it. If I don't, I will not buy it. Like, it's just as simple. And that goes for G-Friend, even though they're within like my ultimate top 10 girl groups. Yeah. Red Velvet, Blackpink, I'm gearing towards more buying basically everything that they release in Korea. Mamamoo, AOA, Lovelyz, Newest, A-Pink, M-Flying, Cosmic Girls, EXO, and BTS. Again, those are the same thing. If I like it, I'll buy it. If I don't, I will not. And yes, so that's kind of like my summary of what I'm going to do with my collection. I've been a K-pop fan for basically 11 years. And yes, I don't regret necessarily buying my albums, but I do want to just cut back on spending. Yeah, so I will be getting some older albums sporadically, like throughout the years that I'm missing from, like the ones that I said I'm still buying albums from, since they're just really, really special to me. And yes, that's kind of how I'm approaching my new K-pop journey. I guess you can call that. Um, and I will still be listening to K-pop. I think for a long time, uh, but I won't be necessarily purchasing albums from like newer groups. And I just made that decision, and it was quite hard because, you know, I do like supporting the albums by purchasing the physical albums, but I really don't have that much space, and I don't want to have so many albums. Like, yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please comment down below if you want. And yes, as for, since I did complete some collections, I will be uploading them just kind of randomly when I have time. I won't be filming a whole entire collection video just because it will take forever. I might do that, but by cutting down my collection videos and speeding them through. But that's kind of like the only option I will do. I am not gonna do a full collection video. I don't have time, and it will take me a week to do that. No joke. Yeah, but yes, that's how I'll be approaching my collection. I hope everyone is doing well. Just look forward to those videos. I might be doing maybe commentary videos on just what's going on like the K-pop world. But that one won't be necessarily doing like a bunch of unboxings. Only for the groups that I mentioned. And if I do like the album, I'll probably get it for the ones that I said, but not newer groups. Yeah, I stopped collecting, and those are the groups that I'm just considering buying. Like, aside from that, I will not be buying from any other group, just because I either lost interest, or the other case where they just disbanded or are in a hiatus. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.